Hello, class. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Japanese experience and their driving force that inspired them to be the dominant powerhouse in the East. And I want to start off with Oleg Benish. And this person's thesis is the Bushido way of the samurai, which is basically in everything that the Japanese at this time uh, was a part of their daily life. It was in their way of thinking. It was in sports, business, education, military, economics, art, and this is the backbone of the education and military during this time period. And it died out after the war, but reemerged in the 70s and 80s. The sources include a grip of British sources, only because the Bushido was incorporated with uh, European or British um, influences that helped it to mix and match and dominate the East. And so there's a lot of Japanese scholars that names I can't pronounce. I don't speak Japanese. So um, with that, I'll jump into the second one, which is Behind the Barbed Wire. And that is written by Connie Ching. And this was based on the Japanese Americans that were involved in the American West that were sent to encampments during World War II. And this was a this person's thesis was environmental history, how the environmental history examines how the environment influenced humans and how humans interacted with and transformed the natural world. So basically, they were sent. The Japanese Americans were sent to Nevada in the desert, and that didn't define who they were. They persevered, and they made crops. They built their shacks with the limited resources they had, and they reshaped their environment by planning and building and making their life, making the best of what they had. And um, their sources include both governmental, big government, and local government historical sites and Japanese firsthand accounts that were there. And so they both use primary and secondary sources. And then the last is the Ben Ami Shinoli. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. Uh, anyway, in this book, the thesis is the national mobilization law in April 1938 that empowered the government to control manpower resources, production prices, and wages, and to suppress undersized meetings and publications. So basically, this book details a lot about the politics that drove the Japanese uh, country at the time, and it was got to the point where they disbanded political parties, and this confused a lot of people in power. And so they just kind of went on a power rampage with the military guiding everything. So they invaded China, and upon invading China, their success there, they wanted to drive out the all Europeans, and they attacked the United States. Their primary sources ranged from the Japanese government to their local government, translated books and journals, and their secondary sources were from American universities. With that, thank you very much.